Greetings. Today we continue in part 2 of the study of the Great White Throne Judgment. We're going to study the system of God's bookkeeping in great detail. Part 1 of God's bookkeeping system teaches us that God has an inclusive list of all who have ever been conceived. Job gives us much information in this light. Job 3:3 says, "Let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said, there is a man-child conceived." He continues in verse 11 of chapter 3 and says, "Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly?" In verse 16, he continues and said, "Why was I not as a hidden, untimely birth? I had not been infants which never saw light." He's describing a stillborn or a miscarriage, which is medically called a spontaneous abortion. Verse 15, "Did not one fashion us in the womb?" Psalm 139, verse 13, "For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb." We need to note that David states he was a person while in his mother's womb. "I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee, when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest part of the earth." I think some say that could be translated the belly or the womb. "Thine eyes did see my substance being yet unperfect. And in thy book," and this Hebrew word means register, "all my members were written, and in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them." Part 2 of God's bookkeeping system is that he has an intricate plan book of how in his providence he will use both the obedience and the disobedience of men to bring his will to pass in the affairs of men. Acts 17:26 says, "And hath made of one blood all nations of men for to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation." This intricate plan book has been pre-written by God's foreknowledge without violating his self-imposed boundaries concerning the free moral agency of man. It is out of this treasury of knowledge God has at various times, according to his will, revealed certain, quote, mysteries, things that were always part of God's plan, but only now revealed. I love Deuteronomy 29:29. "The secret things belong unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong unto us, and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law." Now, I liken that unto the phrase that we have in military and other fields that says that information is on a need-to-know basis. This verse simply tells us there are things that God has not told us and will not tell us. But he has told us everything we need to know in order to do what he expects from us. Acts 15:18 says, "Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world. And when all is finished, he will show his infinite wisdom by never having missed the mark on one thing that he has written in his intricate plan book." Which brings us to part 3 of God's bookkeeping system. God has an indestructible standard by which men will be judged. These books are mentioned twice in Revelation chapter 20, verse 12. The books, and then the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of the life, and the dead were judged out of those things which are written in the books. And they are judged according to their works. See, in written form, this indestructible standard is the Word of God, the 66 books we commonly call the Bible. In incarnate form, this indestructible standard is the perfect life of Jesus Christ. So part 4 of God's bookkeeping system is God has an inerrant life book on each individual who lives. Job 19:23 declares, "Oh, that my words were now written. Oh, that they were printed in a book, that they were graven with an iron pen and lead in the rock forever. For I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth. And though after my skin worms destroy this body, yet in my flesh shall I see God, whom I shall see for myself, and mine eyes shall behold, and not another, though my reins, though my innermost being be consumed within me." This inherent life book is another book of Revelation 20, verse 12, which is the book of the life.